Well, that looks like it's 20 kilometres to go now, Paul. Just 12 miles to race to the finish. They've still got a nice lead at 2:28.
Just holding on to 2:28, but you can almost see the pressure in Samy Demoulin's pedaling style. He's rocking the shoulders a fraction now. These riders went out on this long escapade hoping to build themselves up 10 or 15 minutes and hoping that the main field would get it wrong. But when you see a main field strung out in an angry mood like that, you know the sprinters want to have their day again.
Here, lost in amongst the cars are the two leaders. A lot of work, most of the work, I think, being done by Samuel Dumoulin. He's a man of Normandy, this rider. He won here the Route d'Adelaide in March. He has won the Tour of Normandy. He's not a big winner in the true sense of cycling. He's finished his 3 Tours de France he's ridden before, though. Never abandoned. He is a very strong little rider. And now he's desperate to get to that finish and continue his love affair with this state as he races now. And the same with Bjorn Schroeder, still trying to give all of his effort here. Milram should have come here with the fastest sprinter in the world, Alessandro Petacchi. Wasn't to be, because Petacchi had a very serious knee injury and he's just been given permission now to ride his bike again.
60 days off the bike for Alessandro Petacchi. Smashed his kneecap in the Tour of Italy before the race even left the Belgian part of the world, which is where it started for its first 4 days before then moving down into Italy. I think devastated Alessandro Petacchi with that. He's going to have a long, hard fight back. We'll see him, I think, towards the end of the season, participating in races like, of course, the Vuelta a España. But really, with all of the top sprinters here, Phil, this is where he really would have wanted to be.
Garate coming up through now. Look at the face on this man. He's been up here all day for Tom Bonan. As this Cedric Vasseur who's taken over, is it Tanguy? Vasseur, yeah, he's doing the same. And now look at the arguments going on behind, saying, hey, come on, give us a hand. We're not going to catch these guys today. They've got one over on us at the moment.
Cadel Evans not far from the front either, being attentive.
Oh, there's a crash right in the middle.
There you go, and it's difficult to see who went down there. It looks like a Discovery jersey.
It is a Discovery rider.
It's number 4 who's gone down. It's Egoy Martinez, the man who was in the breakaway yesterday. Overall. Well up in the overall classification. Very hard crash. You see, you have to be attentive. You've got to be at the front. Mechanics up alongside him. And it was here at this point here, there was a split in the field. There's 1 or 2 riders. He just touched the wheel of the rider in front of him, who was an Euskaltel Euskadi rider. And maybe that might have even been one of his teammates from last year. Gerard Porte in the white shirt there has picked up so many professional bike riders, and sadly to see there the red number on the back of Egoy Martinez, the most aggressive bike rider of yesterday's stage, climbed up to 5th overall. He won't get back into the main field now, Phil. It's going to be much too fast, but I wonder if he'll be able to finish the stage.
Yes, he really went down with a bit of a wallop. I think he was stunned there because touch of the back wheel of a Euskaltel Euskadi rider flipped him clean off his bike. I don't think his collarbone was hit, but that's the side he went down on. Big fanfare up the road.
They want to take the Saints. They want them to go marching in.
Yeah, well, the 2 leaders, I'm sure they're supporting.
Oh, that's Thierry Marie. Sorry about that.
It
Thierry
is
Marie.
Indeed.
He is a man who was a specialist at the prologue of the Tour de France, and he's obviously quite good with the bugle there.
And from his area here, of course, he specialises in, I think he actually he breeds mussels, doesn't he? He has a mussel bed. Oyster beds, that's right.
See how dangerous it is. You've got to pay attention here again. Once you come to these directional islands, you can only hope that the guy in front of you is not just a little bit on the rivet, and he does give you that signal indicating either with the hand or with a little yelp that there is something in the road. It's so dangerous now racing on the roads of France and, of course, for most of Europe because of all this traffic furniture. That little post in the middle there, if you hit that at 60 kilometers an hour, it ain't going to move.
Don't think about it. Here's a word at the front again now to try and keep these 2 riders away. That's all you can do is push them on now. They're on their own now. It's just hang and survive. Since the 20th kilometre of the day, we are now inside the last 10 of the day. And it's been a long day for these guys, to say the least.
A long day in the saddle. 1 minute and 35 seconds is the last time gap between the 2 leaders, the superheroes of this afternoon stage, the men who I hope you're now wanting to survive. In fact, it's changed around a little bit earlier on. It was a 59%. A few moments ago, it was Samy Dumoulin who was doing most of the work, but now 59% of the work is being done by the rider in the pale blue jersey at the front, Bjorn Schroeder. 12 kilometers to go. It is going to be very precarious indeed. These 2 riders We want them to win. They've put so much effort into trying to survive here this afternoon, but behind them, the bad guys, the sprinters, they don't want these two men to have their day, because the sprinters want to steal the glory in the last 100 meters.
Well, Paul, as far as we know, Igor Martinez has got back on his bike. He's being escorted by Pavel Padrinos at the back, so he should come home to the finish.
Well, there he is alongside the team doctor's car. And
don't see Padrinos, but still.
Well, Padrinos will be riding just in front. The doctor will have helped him out quite a bit there. He was pretty banged up there, and the doctor's got him looked after quite quickly. He's got him bandaged up, giving him a little bit of a drink. These doctors are pretty impressive guys. They work on the road. They're working here at 35 miles an hour to keep the rider nice and safe, to keep him in the bike race. He went down hard. Padrinos is probably riding just in front of him there, but he's got to get himself back into contact with this group, Phil, if he's going to stay in the top 5.
33 seconds we're down to now, so the cars behind the two are off the road just to open up some space there, so there's no attraction for the peloton. They're chasing the two men, not cars and motorbikes, at 30 seconds. It's coming down rapidly now, 6 kilometers to go. They're going to be caught, but how far out for the finish? Will the pack all come together in the city of Caen? And that's going to cause chaos as they start dodging all the roundabouts and the turns as they race up towards the finish. Look at that face here of Samuel Dumoulin, his 4th Tour de France, his greatest chance at a win, and they are chasing him down. And the same too for Bjorn Schroeder. This is a fine finish today.
Just stretching his back a fraction there, Schroeder at the back. Just, you can almost feel the pain with him there as he sits up just to take the pressure off the base of his spine. This man at the front puts his head down to make himself a little bit more aerodynamic, just to make himself that more chance of surviving. 21 seconds, 5 kilometers to go to the finish. There is the yellow jersey of Tom Boonen. There's a little problem at the back here. One of the riders from Francis de Jeurs just stopped at the side of the road with a flat tire, but at the front it's complete control now for the riders of Tom Boonen. They had a little bit of respite in the middle when 1 or 2 other teams came to the front to do the pacemaking. Now they're taking over control once again because they want to give their man Tom Boonen the chance of getting the win here this afternoon. Big Maggie Backstead is moving into the mix of it too in the lime green jersey of Liquigas. Jimmy Casper is in there also. Again, another little bit of a problem at the back here for Stewie O'Grady. He must be suffering. He said to us this morning, yesterday was probably the worst I've ever suffered on a bicycle, but he's still in the bike race, still trying to survive. These two riders now will know that the race is starting to bore down upon them. When the neutral service car has been pulled away like that, it's an indication the gap is down to inside of the 30-second mark, but it's probably more likely to be 20. 4.8 kilometers left to go, holding on to between 15 and 20 seconds of their advantage. On the front now, they're really digging deep. Team Lamprey trying to get themselves organized. There's the train on the right-hand side of the lime green jerseys of Liquigas. Rabobank moving up to the front as well. Just you can see the urgency. This is the last hope for these two men.
So Zabel, well, let's hope that Zabel doesn't have a flat tire in the running now, Paul, because his team is bringing up to the front in the rear. They've got no choice. They know that the young man on Zabel's team here, I'm afraid his mileage is numbered now.
Well, the official gap coming across from race radio is 12 seconds, but that's really just not so important for the riders because the peloton can see them. The mouse is about to be taken in by the cat here, but you have to still keep the concentration at the front end of the main field, keep the organization, make sure that no late-minute bursts come out of the main field. But for these two riders, Phil, I think now they know it's all over. Dumoulin, though, doesn't want to give up.
No, and why should he? But he's over. They're right onto the North Sea coastline here now, and that they've got them in their sights. Remember that the wind at the moment is slightly favorable, but they'll turn against it to come up for the finish. Schroeder looks over his shoulder. It's a horrible feeling. 109,
another crash down there, just in the middle.
Somebody's touched wheels. 197 kilometers they've been away, and this is another crash concerning here. Looks like Van Summeren has gone down on the left here. A Mildam rider is also down, Agri Turbel.
It is so dangerous at the front end because you've got a certain amount of space of the riders at the front end of the peloton, and what is happening is you've got the riders who want to be up there in the overall classification mixing it in with the sprinters. That's where the crash happened. You see the reaction immediately immediately everybody moves over to the left-hand side. That causes great confusion in the run into the finish.
When Summerlin is down, I thought for a moment it was David Zabriskie. I don't think it is Zabriskie who's gone down with him. This is Van Summerlin remounting, his teammate asking him, well, they'll just get up and ride to the finish now. Their day is done. And as we get into 1.7 miles or so to go now, just a handful of kilometres, 3, and we race up now. Big Magnus Backstedt drives on now. Can he get Luca Paolini into a surprise win of the day? Milram over in the light blue, looking for Eric Zabel.
Eric Zabel will be moving up through the middle. I haven't seen Robbie McEwen, but you can count your bottom dollar. Robbie McEwen is right in there with the mix, waiting to come out at the last possible moment. There was the yellow helmet. You just see it every now and again. The dark yellow helmet is that of Tom Boonen. He is right on the tail of his teammates, and this time, Phil, he's got a couple of teammates. That Magnus Backstedt over on the right-hand side. I said, Wolf, that's enough for me. I'm going back now. Leave it up to the other guys at the front end of the main field. Now, it looks as if Quickstep have got the power at the front, but it isn't Quickstep. It's Milram wrapping it up for Robbie McEwen, for Tom Boonen, and, of course, the man on the front is doing it for Eric Zabel.
We are scorching down the wrong way in a one-way street here. We're all going the right way, though. 2.2 kilometres to go now. The rider on the front keeping the pace as high as possible, hoping that his teammates are looking after Eric Zabel as they make that sharp right-hand corner. And this is where we see the corners now. If you're not near the front, your chance of winning for the day are over. And that's the end of the effort by Milram. Now it's up to Leaky Gas to try and lead out Luca Paolini.
This is going to be the best led-out sprint we've had in the Tour so far. Up into 5th position there was Tom Boonen, but right on his wheel there's a very dark green shadow. That is Robbie McEwen. McEwen not far away at all. He knows which wheel he wants to follow here this afternoon. They're going round the corner. Boonen's now dropped down into 5th position. McEwen is right up there. Zabel is not far away either. We're now inside of 2 kilometres to go. The big final burst here for Liquigas. They want to make sure it's into a big long line. They do not want a disorganised sprint like we've had the last couple of days.
Well, there's no way he's going to sprint for 1.3 kilometres here, because it's Bram Tankink, I think, bringing up the rear. They'll shut them all down. They've got it. Now Boonen is in a perfect place here at 3/4 of a mile, or just over a kilometre to go. He is third wheel on his 2 teammates. They are positioning the missile to race for the finish at 1 kilometre.
It's still a very long way with just 2 teammates left in front of him. There, the last man to go will be Matteo Tossato. He's the big man who will try and launch Tom Boonen into maximum. Right up there as well, Jimmy Casper's mixing it with all of them, but the train has been taken over now because Eric Zabel is up into 3rd. Zabel, you know, is an ever-consistent man. Tor Hushoff coming up through the middle as well with his lead-out man trying to place himself. McEwen over there on the right-hand side. He's got big head. Stegeman's leading him into the last 400 or 500 metres. Oh, and a touch of wheels again.
Well, into the home straight now. Watch the centre picture. The green jersey's got the perfect lead out, McEwen. Boonen has been watched away once more. Now, is this going to be 3 wins in the first week for Robbie McEwen? He's got the lead out. He's hesitating to attack. It might be a mistake because Bonen's gone over him. And McEwen actually waited. Now Big Tom has gone. And watch this. Oscar Freire far left of the picture. This won't go wrong now. Tom Boonen is moving across into the slipstream, being challenged all of the way, but on the line it's gone to Oscar Freire. Boonen beaten by the width of his tyre. I don't know why Robbie sat up. He tried to change tack too late, and Oscar Freire has pulled out one of the best sprints of his life there.
Well, that's his 2nd win in a stage at the Tour de France for Oscar Freire, but he is an unbelievably good bike rider. He knows how to time it to perfection. He caught everybody off guard here. He went on a sprint all on his own. McEwen there at this point saw he wasn't going to get it. Tom Boonen was trying. He went to the left, he went to the right, he came up through the middle. I think we will see Tom Boonen just getting himself 2nd place there, but look at this. Oscar Freire, you don't win world championships as many times as this man, Phil, if you can't pull out something special.
Freire's 2nd stage win in the Tour, 4 years after his first, and Tom Boonen's second place this week. Inaki Izasi of Euskaltel took 3rd, Gerolsteiner's David Kopp 4th, and Robbie McEwen 5th.